Every few months, I like to make a video where I show you some of my favorite new underrated software for Mac. And I'd like to think that my experience and taste in Mac apps is quite refined. But I have a confession to make. My iPhone is really, really boring. I made a resolve to change, so I went to my friends on Mastodon and asked them to recommend their favorite underrated iOS apps. I downloaded dozens of them and have chosen 10 that I really like and think you will too. I'm a big fan of music, and one of my favorite apps for iOS for a long time now has been Music Harbor. It's an app that basically imports your Spotify or Apple Music library and follows all of those artists and notifies you of new releases when they have one. It's super great, but this same developer has gone out and made a new app called MusicBox, and I might like this app better. It's basically read later, but for music. It's a great place to store music without committing it to your library. There's tons of songs and bands and albums that I'll see that I want to try out. I want to listen to them, but I don't want to keep like a notepad of where that music is and where it's, but I also don't want to add it to my music library because then it's a part of my rotation and I'm not even sure I like it yet. So let me show you an example of how this app works. I'm going to go into the music app. I'm here on the Listen Now page and let's scroll down. Okay, so here's a new album from The National. I like The National, but I don't know if this new album is any good. I've heard it's okay. I'm going to go into this triple dot thing. I'm going to press Share Album. And then I can just press Add to MusicBox. And it's automatically added. I can exit right now. But what I can also do on here is edit the metadata, add a rating, and or apply a tag. So this is something that I want to listen to later. I'm going to add it to my Listen Later tag. And when I go back to MusicBox, I tap Listen Later, and there it is. This album, along with a number of other albums that I think I'll like, but I'm not really sure I want to add it to my library yet. I can tap The National. It'll give me all the information about it. I can start playing it right from the app. I can view it on Apple Music. It will open that back up, and more. You can create any kind of tag you want. I have a tag for heavy rotation, stuff that I'm listening to a lot frequently and I want to be able to access easily. I also have a tag for albums that I love enough to purchase on vinyl, that I want an LP of. This allows you to do so much more than that. It can get real crazy. If you go into settings, you can do auto tagging based on conditional logic. And if you're a real music freak, this is way more powerful than I've ever really used it for. But one of my other favorite features is not only can you add from any external URL, Discogs, Apple Music, Spotify, Bandcamp, it doesn't matter. You can add it into this app, but you can also use, you can add by searching your Apple Music library. You can search with a playlist. You can look for items, but here's one really cool thing. Last year or a couple years ago, Apple added a thing called Shazam Kit. I've never seen anyone use the Shazam API well until now. I can press Add with Shazam. It will start running the Shazam API in the background. It's listening for a song, which it's not going to find because there is none. And then as soon as it's identified the song, I can click OK, and it adds. This is a great place to put that song, and not just that song, but that band and that album that I can add into my, hey, you like this enough to Shazam it, maybe you should listen to it before you add it to your library. It's fantastic, and it's like $3. I mean, this next app is a little bit buggy, but that's okay because it's super cool and totally free. Not like free, but legitimately free. It's called Find Photo because it does exactly that. It can find, identify, and locate photos, and then it can even combine them into smart albums. What's really great about this service is that it uses your phone's SoC and local recognition models to identify all of your photos. It's not sending anything to the internet. Nothing leaves your phone. This is all done on device. So it finds text and objects and colors of your photos in your photos on your phone. Pretty cool. Now it is using a model from 2014, so it's often wrong, but I kind of like that. Let me give you an example. I think here in the Photos app, the confidence threshold is just too darn high, and it often doesn't show the results that I want because it doesn't know, it's not sure that it's what it thinks it is. Let me give you an example, like Screw. There is a picture of an auger, and I can search auger. I mean, it's not going to work either because it's just such a weird part. So it's not there in Augur, it's not there in Screw. There's only 5 photos of anything Screw related on my phone, and it's because, again, the Photos app wants to be really sure that it gives you only things that legitimately involve screws. Find doesn't care as much. It's a little bit more careless, but the end result is that you can find photos that the Photos app might be like, nah, I don't think you want that. So it found corkscrew, which is a perfect example of something that's not a corkscrew. That is a tap for my sink, but check this out. If I go into screw, hey, there it is. That is indeed a screw. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And this app found it. The Apple Photos app didn't. What's really cool about this app, beyond just finding stuff a little bit better than the native Photos app, is that it has advanced filters to create smart albums. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna press Add a Smart Album, and I can create filters that I wanna use to identify and pull together photos. This will make sense when I explain it. So I'm gonna go in here and say, let's add some metadata. So let's make sure that every photo that I want in this album is not a screenshot. Okay, so it's gonna pull in every photo in my library except for screenshots. That's gonna be like, yeah, 17,000 photos, okay? Now I am going to add, let's say, a color. I want every app that is primarily or dominantly red. And it says, whoa, big update. Change your results from 17,000 photos to 593. I'm gonna press save. And this is where if we're gonna experience a bug, we will. Yeah, we do. It says it's done, but they're not there. And then if I go back, it crashes. But if I reopen the app, and I click it again, it'll say save. And come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Check it out. Now we've got a bunch of photos from my library that are predominantly red, that are not screenshots. And you might be thinking, okay, well, why specifically do you care about that? A color, a screenshot, what do I care? Well, there are a ton of filters, and not just built-in filters, but filters that you can make. So you can choose specific metadata stringing. So photos that are this capacity, or we're taken at this GPS location, or from this camera at this focal length, at this aperture. The app just crashed again. I wasn't even doing anything. Within these dates, within this location, that contain this text, that have this color, that have these objects, maybe only photos of cats. You can do so many things and really narrow this down to the point where you can find just about anything in your photo library, which when you have tens of thousands of photos is great. It's not perfect, it has bugs, and the model is from 2014, it's old. But the dev is interning right now at Apple, which is pretty exciting, and he's working on a GPT variant of the app, which to me sounds really exciting. For free, I mean, what do you have to lose? Give it a shot. Our next app is one available through today's sponsor, Setapp. You've probably heard of Setapp. They are the affordable software subscription suite that includes full access to hundreds of the best Mac apps out there. Tens of thousands of dollars of software for just a few bucks a month. I pay for it on all of my computers. Well, they also have support for a number of apps that have iOS counterparts. You just download the app from the App Store, you scan your special QR code with your phone, and then it opens and authenticates you as a user. You bypass any paid in-app purchases, it's just unlocked. It's pretty cool. Sign up for Setapp today with the link below, which is something that you'll want to do after seeing these next couple apps available through Setapp. iOS widgets are cool, but frankly, they kind of do what the app developer has intended them to do. Launcher flips that on its head because it allows you to create apps with your own launch actions. So, for example, I could open up YouTube. That's pretty easy and basic, but I could also open up Uber, and not just open Uber, but automatically request a ride with my current location. Well, that's pretty neat. I can open a URL, so my Homebridge instance, where it will not open because I'm not at home, I'm at work. And I can even sequence actions. So check this out, I'm gonna push this right here. It opens up Launcher and then closes immediately, but what's happened is it has begun playing music in the background from this album that I've tapped, that I've basically tied to my home screen. Pretty darn cool, and not only does it work on your home screen, but it works anywhere. So for example, when I am locked out of my car, which unfortunately is happening more often than not lately, Rivian's latest software update is not very great, I can just tap the Rivian badge directly from my lock screen. It will take me directly to the app, and I can manually unlock my car. That is pretty neat, and that is once again possible through Launcher. If you open up the application, it looks like an Android app. It's honestly not very good looking, but that's okay because it works, and it works well. So I can go here and choose a number of widgets. I can create a lock screen widget, I can create a widget for my watch, but I'm gonna go to this medium style widget, which is the one I've got on my home screen. I can press edit, and not only can I edit any of the actions here, so let's say I don't want YouTube anymore, I'm gonna get rid of that, and I want to add a new one. I can have it launch a contact, it can launch an app, it can launch music, it can launch the web, I can even build out my own thing with a custom URL structure. It's pretty darn cool. not only can I do that, but I can change the way it looks and functions. So if I want 8 icons, I can do that. If I want 3 icons, I can do that. I can make this thing any size I want, any color, any shape. I can put it in any location, and it just works and updates automatically. That's the power of Launcher. It's really cool. PDF search is also available through Setapp, and it is one of my favorite Mac apps as of late. It is a very, very, very powerful tool that basically scrapes any text file on your computer and now also on your phone. So not only does it work with just PDFs, as the name would imply, but it works with pretty much any text document. Where this is cool and where it's powerful as a search tool is that if you've ever used a search functionality or find functionality inside of Adobe Acrobat or inside of Preview or even in the macOS Finder, it only finds the exact keyword that you've entered. And when you don't know exactly what to search for or exactly what that phrase was, that's not very helpful. So this uses natural language processing. I could enter the word children. And if I enter children, it's going to return a bunch of results. It automatically presumes what it thinks is the most relevant result to me. And you'll see that it doesn't say children, but just per child. That is a phrase that wouldn't pop up, basically, if I had independently typed that into Adobe Acrobat. It uses natural language processing to go beyond exactly what you've typed and to really identify the meaning of what you've typed rather than just the word. Let me give you another example here. I'm going to type vertical integration. All right. This is going to return a bunch of documents where I've had vertical integration listed, but the first document it opens is a Management 5700 textbook that I have added into this application. And the reason it opened this one is because that is a chapter heading. That is a big portion of this textbook, right? So it's not going to find vertical integration located in one tiny little file that I've never opened in or haven't opened in 5 years. It's going to find the term that seems the most obvious. It tries to search like a human. The other thing that it can do is it can search from a unified standpoint with the Mac. So if you've got this app running on your Mac, which I do not here at work, but actually at home, on the same local network, I can automatically pull in every PDF that is available on my Mac. I can search through them and I can go from there. Let me give you one more example. Let's do Edsel. I'm assuming this will show up. Yeah. So this is an app called, this is a book called The Lost Chord. This is just a scanned PDF. Not only is it a scanned PDF, but I haven't converted this to text. So it's using OCR to identify that word, and it does so in a fraction of the second. And that's because one of the reasons this works so well is because it spends a few minutes when you run the app the first time to basically pre-index all of your file sources. So it's just ready to go instantly. Really pretty handy. The last thing it allows you to do, which I've actually used more often than I thought, even though there's an entire app genre that does specifically this, there's a scanner. So you can create new PDF documents with your phone camera. You can even do that in parts of iOS, but not only does it create them into PDFs, but you can move the pages around, you can do OCR text right in app, and you can add it to your PDF search index right from the go. It's pretty cool, PDF search. SQL received far and above the most recommendations of any application when I asked for recommendations. And it's something that I had heard of but never actually used, and I regret now all the time that I hadn't used it. As you can see, this is a beautiful looking app, but basically what it is a database that keeps track of the things that you're interested in watching, playing, and reading. So there's 4 categories: movies, series, games, books, and then there's also audiobooks, but I don't listen to audiobooks. This video is not sponsored by Audible. I'm going to go into movies, and I have Dune added to my watch list because that's an up-and-coming movie. I can have it alert me when that movie is available to see in theaters. I can watch the trailer, see the cast, get a description, and more. I can also see the movies that I've recently watched, so I can go here into John Wick 4 and see that same information. Not only can I see the rating of the movie, but if it were out and available for streaming, which this one is not, it would show me where I could watch that, and in a single tap, it would open that video and play it, which is pretty cool. I can also see the cast and extras, etc., etc. Where I think this is cool is in the series and games section. So here's a TV show that I'm currently watching, Ted Lasso. We have watched all of season 1, all of season 2, and season 3 we're a little bit behind. Okay, these episodes have come out. As I finish them, I can mark them as watched. I get a description for each of the episodes. I get the cast. It just keeps track of things. And where I think this is really handy is with TV shows that, I'm going to go here to watch TV shows that are currently not airing. There is no new season, but will have future seasons, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I know that this season is going to start debuting, it says returning, in a few weeks, and when it returns, this app will notify me, hey, there's a new episode out, you should go watch it. So it just keeps track of the dozens or hundreds of things that you watch, see, play, and do. The last example here is games. So this is fantastic because yet again, it shows you, oh, isn't this cool, Zelda Breath of the Wild. I can even add a little widget to my home screen that says, hey, there's 4 days until Zelda comes out. But I can go into my backlog. I'm seeing Pikmin 3 Deluxe. This is something I'm currently playing. And I can see down here that it takes about 10 hours to beat the story. If I do the side quests, it's about 14 hours. And to completely finish the game, it's about 30 hours. It just gives you information that you may want or need at your fingertips and keeps track of everything. Sequel. It's pretty cool. This next app is one that I was a little hesitant about including because even though it was mentioned time and time and time again, and it's one that I've actually used and is indispensable to me. I use this every single day. It's an app that I kind of don't like anymore. But I don't think there's a great alternative for it. And it is something that I continue to use because it's handy. So let me give you an example. I've Googled LTT Facebook here. And if I tap this URL, it's just going to open that page on Facebook in Safari. But I would like this to open in the Facebook app. What I can do is hold this URL, I can press share, and I tap opener. Opener will then automatically open this in the native application. Now this oftentimes works, but sometimes it doesn't. It's supposed to happen natively, but let me give you an example. Reddit. Okay, Reddit will automatically open this URL if I've got the Reddit app, but I don't have the Reddit app and I don't want it. It's a piece of crap, but I also don't want to view it in Safari because I have a third-party Reddit app installed. All I have to do is push the share button, go down to opener, push it, and then say open link in Apollo. And then sure enough, the link has opened up in my third-party Reddit client of choice. Opener has literally like hundreds of applications that are supported. I mean, look at this list. It just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. What it also does is it supports a number of third-party browsers. You might be sitting there thinking, well, I use Safari and every time I click a Reddit app, it just automatically opens the Reddit app. That's by design, but again, if you don't use the Reddit app, that's not going to work. And if you use any of the 50 bajillion web browsers on the App Store, that's not going to work either. Opener is designed to work with over 40 browsers and it works well. My one wish for this app, and the only reason it really bothers me, is that if I click this and then go into Opener, it knows that Apollo is the only Reddit app installed on my phone because these say view. These aren't installed. These are other apps that it supports, but I don't have them. So why would you suggest them? Just automatically open it in Apollo. Now it does that for Facebook because the Facebook app is the only official Facebook app that's supported by Opener. But there's a bajillion different Reddit apps. I'm complaining. It's a great app and it works most of the time. But I wish they just maybe had a new Safari extension that could automatically do it without even having to hit the share icon. That would be cool. There's an idea, but Opener is still pretty good for $2. Way better than copying and pasting and doing weird shenanigans. This next app has been around for years, and it is a meme app, and it is ugly, like it's so poorly designed. But it's beautiful because it's free, and it tells you exactly what it says it's going to tell you, and that is the best time to go to the bathroom in the middle of a movie. We're going back to movie theaters. Movies are seemingly getting longer and longer and longer, and if you've got a little bladder or you drink a lot of fluids, I do both, you're gonna have to go pee in the middle of the movie. And this tells you the best time to go. Let me give you an example. I'm gonna say John Wick, for spoiler reasons, let's say John Wick Chapter 2. If you haven't seen this, that's on you. I'm gonna press view pee times, and inside of this app, it's going to tell me when the best time to go to the bathroom is. So 42 minutes in, 1 hour and 8 minutes in, and it tells you, hey, you can go for 4 minutes. And while you're taking a pee, standing at the urinal or sitting down, you can see a synopsis of what's happening while you're in the movie theater. And make sure that you're not moving during a super entertaining part. It's like the least important part of the movie, but then it tells you what's going on so you don't come back and have to ask someone, hey, what did I miss? It's super handy. It's dumb. It's all about peeing in the middle of movies, but it is really great and I use it all the time. There are a couple of other things that they've added that I think are quite handy. It tells you now if there are extra credit scenes or extra scenes after the credits. More and more movies are doing that now, but not every movie. This lets you know before you go, what that is going to be. Additionally, if you do need to go pee or you plan to go pee, there's a timer functionality. You can put your phone in your pocket and it will vibrate with 30 seconds before you should leave to go to the bathroom. It's dumb, but it's great. They used to have these things called, I said it was a meme. Like it turned into this business and they were charging people pee coins and you could spend pee coins in order to see when to go to the bathroom. They've all gotten rid of that lately. It's completely free. The only option is to donate to the developers and contributors, and I think you should, especially if you pee. And we all pee, and we all poo. Up Ahead is an app that was recommended again and again and again and again. And when I saw it in the App Store, I was like, okay, I mean, cool. It does what dozens of apps have done before it. It counts down to events in your life. But it's so quirky and full of charm and adorable that once I downloaded it, I couldn't help but love it and put it in this list. Like I mentioned, it counts down to important events in your life. So, for example, I'm leaving to London today. In a couple hours? Is that why this video is so loud and there's construction trucks and music and we're just going anyways? Maybe. Then 6 days after that, I go to Paris. And then 5 days after that, I go to Capri. And then 16 days after that, it's WWDC. And 16 days after that, we launch a new YouTube channel. This thing is adorable. Adding events is a piece of cake. I can just say, coffee. I can say the date is May 18th. I can add a time if I want, 2 p.m. I can add a cute little icon. And then what's even better is I can add a pattern. These patterns unlock as you use keywords. So when I said travel, it opened up this travel icon. When I said coffee, it opened up this. So you're constantly in a hunt of like, oh, when I add an event, will I get a new pattern? And you often do. So this pattern is going to be coffee shop. I'm going to add a reminder 1 hour before the event. So it's not a calendar event, but it is more useful than the standard countdowns that are just kind of ugly. It's just cute and full of whimsy and works so well. You can also add stuff like links and notes. So on the I Said Yes channel, it directly opens on YouTube. I could add notes about the coffee visit, maybe meeting notes or whatever. So it does more than your standard countdown app. And if you go into the settings, there are just a billion things that you can change and modify and colors and what have you. There are adorable little lock screen widgets in all sizes and all shapes and all functionality. There's one that I like that has a bunch of little squares and each square represents a day, and you can see the upcoming icons in your life based on the little dots, which is fun. There's one on your lock screen that can count down to a specific event. Now it's time to go. Get on the plane. All right. This next app answers the question, when did I? Tasks that are important, that you want to keep track of, but not so important that you want to create a calendar event or a reminder. It's just when was the last time I did that thing? It's really, really great, especially for $3. So I've got a list of things that I like to do every once in a while. It doesn't tell me when to do them, it just tells me when I last did them. So for example, go to the dentist. I did that 5 months ago. I generally go to the dentist every 6 months. So I come in here and go, oh yeah, okay, in the next month or so, I need to go to the dentist. It's not a firm commitment. It's not gonna bother me with notifications. It's just hey, this is when you did that. Change my furnace filter. I did that 2 months ago. I do that every 3 months, so I know next month I need to change the filter. Filter and the dentist in the same month. Hopefully I can manage. There's also, in my opinion, a really good application with this app for habit forming. I hate habit training apps because they just bug you ad nauseum with notifications. Did you do this? Did you remember to do this? This app doesn't do that at all. I can just say, okay, I took my multivitamin 4 hours ago. I can see a complete history of the 7 days that I've been taking this vitamin. And then when I take it tomorrow, I'll just tap take multivitamin. It records when I did it and will remember, hey, you did that 3 seconds ago, 4 seconds ago. Take out the trash 1 day ago, pest control 7 months ago. You can see a history of your items. And that's it. It's really limited, but I like its limitation. There's no alerts, there's no reminders, there's no notifications. It can't do any of that. It's literally just a, hey, when did I do that? It also has integration with Siri, which works really well. So I can say, when did I last change the litter box? 5 days, 18 hours ago. I do that weekly, so I need to do it today, tomorrow. I'll be gone tomorrow, today. When did I? Anyway, that's all from me, folks. I hope you enjoyed some of these iOS apps that I've shared with you today. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite, most underrated apps are. And who knows, maybe they'll be featured in a future episode. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay snazzy.